Hello, good evening, and welcome to Joy News Prime from our studios here at Koko Mlemle in Accra. We are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up this evening, wild jubilations amongst WASSCE and MAMPROSES as Asante concludes mediation talks today. Details as the outcome of the mediation talk to be presented to President Mahama in the coming days. Also, Health Minister questions zipline deal as it says the drones are delivering non-critical supplies like condoms, exercise books and school uniforms. We have more as Ghana pays over $500,000 monthly for drone services. And Chief Justice begins consideration of 10 petitions for the removal of EC Chairperson Jean Mensah and 2 others. Details of another set of petitions calling for the removal of the special prosecutor that is also being considered by the Chief Justice. And later, Ghana suffers a major setback in its HIV response, missing key UNA's 2025 target and raising concerns about the 2030 goals of ending the epidemic. And later in the bulletin, we'll tell you how the northern region is making history with its first ever cocoa harvest. And Pius Kojo Baka will come your way with Prime Business.
Oil marketing companies expected to adjust fuel prices at the pumps by 5% per litre from tomorrow.
And later we'll have Prime Sports.
The Diama Sporting Club still focused on winning the Ghana Premier League despite setback to Asante Kotoko.
Remember, we are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Stay for details. Thank you so much for joining us here on Joy News Prime. Let's begin from Kumasi because there was a wild jubilation at Mensah Palace as the Asante Hene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu concluded mediation talks between the WASSCE and MAMPROSES. Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II will forward the details of the dialogue to the presidency after being tasked by President John Mahama to help find lasting peace in the decade-long Bawku conflict. My colleague Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reports.
Members of the WASSCE and MAMPROSES communities arrived at the Mensah Palace with a common aim, finding a lasting and peaceful resolution to a protracted chieftaincy dispute. The feud has claimed several lives and brought destruction to properties as the Bawku community witnessed a series of violent attacks and sporadic shooting. The conflict has caused the displacement of people as some residents flee the area to seek shelter in other communities. President John Dramani Mahama earlier this year tasked the Asante Hene to lead mediation talks between the feuding factions. After months of peaceful dialogue, the Asante Hene today concluded deliberations with the opposing factions. Scores of people from the two ethnic groups pitched camp at the frontage of the Mensah Palace awaiting a peaceful resolution. The Asante Hene's ruling is expected to bring finality to the decades-old conflict. After several hours of closed-door meetings, there was wild jubilation at the palace as members of both sides expressed relief and optimism after the latest round of talks ended on a positive note.
All right, so it appears conclusions with the mediation talks with Asante Hene has finally come to an end. We do not really know what happened in the closed-door meeting, but this is the jubilation that we are having here at the Mensah Palace, and as you can see, that is the dignity or some local authorities here at the. We understand this is the group for the WASSCE. They had waited all day long for the Asante Hene to conclude the mediation talks between the MAMPROSES and WASSCE, and we know that this conflict has been a long-standing chieftaincy feud between the two factions that have resulted in the loss of lives and destruction to property. It's a large fleet of vehicles moving out of the Mensah Palace after mediation talks with the Asante Hene. And in fact, for many of them, they are hoping that the outcome of today's talks or dialogue or the conclusion by the Asante-Hene will be one that would ensure that peace prevails in Bawku and its environs. And so we still have heavy military presence here. We already saw the police lead the Kusassis out of the Menchia Palace, and as you can see also in your shot, we are having the military also join the large fleet of vehicles. They are right behind the vehicle that conveyed dignitaries from the various places to the Menchia, and now they are going back to wherever they came from.
Well, let's bring in a security analyst, Dr. Victor Doke. Grateful for your time. The details of the dialogue are yet to be made public, but we're already seeing wild jubilations from the two main factions. What does that signal?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think the two factions jubilation just shows that, yes, the long-awaited mediation talks have come to an end, first of all, and then second, they having a mediator in the person of the Asante itself gives prominence to the fact that their issues have been taken into consideration and then dialogued on. However, jubilation comes in various ways and for various reasons. It is for both factions, maybe because, we are just happy things have come to an end and whatnot. But the actual issue, which the Asante-Hene will now go and then brief the president, trust me, will be kept in secrecy. It is probably only the Asante-Hene who would know about it. And the two factions may not actually know what exactly his final recommendations will be, except for him and then the president. So I think it is in the right direction. Everybody can jubilate for the fact that mediations have come to an end. But specifically, the core issue now is the aspect of the rival chief and then maintaining or sustaining the peace,
right,
or facilitating development. That is what we are looking at. So on the D-Day itself, for the final issues to be, presented to the president, for him now to implement through state agencies and stakeholders is the main issue now. But from now to that time,
right,
as to whether the two sides would adhere to the advice of their strategy towards maintaining the peace is what we are looking at.
All right.
And then also, after, when implementation of recommendations have begun, the two factions should be able to accept, as they have done today, what the people are so then maintain the peace. Let's keep the peace at topmost and then respect the rule of law. That is what is going to drive the people now onto the D-Day and after implementation of the recommendations.
Thank you so much for your insight into this. Let's move to some other story. Health Minister Kobna Minta-Kando is raising concerns over the use of zipline medical drones, revealing that most deliveries, including items like condoms, textbooks and uniforms, rather than critical medical supplies, only 12% of deliveries reach hard-to-reach communities, with emergency medical deliveries accounting for just about 4%. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba has more.
According to Zipline, it operates multiple distribution centers covering many regions. Through this network, the service reaches hundreds of clinics and hospitals that otherwise might struggle with road access, supply chain delays, or stockouts. It says the drone deliveries have gone beyond just vaccines. They now include blood products, essential medicines, antivenom, and emergency supply. Recent reports, however, indicate that Zipline has shut down 3 of its operational centers due to an outstanding 174 million debt owed by government. Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin alleged on the floor of Parliament last week that a contract had been cancelled. Majority Leader Mahama Yariga called for a cancellation of the contract, describing it as unjustifiable. The health minister at the Government Accountability Series questioned Zipline's deal as he says the drones are delivering non-critical supplies like condoms, exercise books, school uniforms, and more. He said government is engaging the company on the way forward as it pushes to secure value for money.
Apart from that, their services was to concentrate on the hard-to-reach areas and emergency services. But upon review of the activities, what we have realized is that the hard-to-reach areas constitute only 12% of the activities, 12%, 1-2. And emergency services is 4% of the activities. And it will interest you to know some of the items they fly. Items like condom, blood donor cards, not blood donor cards, mosquito nets, food and nutrition items, adhesive tapes, syringes and needles, education materials, among other things, textbooks, exercise books, uniforms, and a lot more. So these are some of the items they have been flying. And so when we came to office, we think that there must be value for money. And therefore, we are engaging them. So if you hear that we are not engaging Zipline, it's not true. We have met more than 3 times, and we are still engaging them to know how we can have value for money.
Let's spend some time on health because Ghana has missed all 3 UN AIDS targets for 2025, raising new concerns about the country's readiness to eliminate HIV as a public health threat by year 2030. Now, the UNAIDS benchmark requires people living with HIV to know their status, receive treatment, and achieve viral suppression. But the Ghana AIDS Commission says the nation is falling short across the board. Director General Dr. Kamasel Prosper Akanbon spoke to Joy News earlier, but he is on Zoom now. Let's get his perspective on this story. This is, in simple terms, what does missing this target mean for Ghana's 2030 goal of ending HIV as a public health threat? You may have to unmute so we hear what you're saying, Doc.
Good evening, and good evening to your listeners, and thank you for this opportunity. The global health targets set by WHO and UNAIDS have it that by 2025, at least all countries should have 90%, 90%, 90%. Let me explain each of the 90%. The first 90% is that 90% of all people living with HIV in the country know their status. And that 90% of those people who know their status are on treatment. And 90% of those who are on treatment have reached a virus level that is not detectable in their blood. The physiology is that if you reach that level of viral suppression that is not in your blood, then you cannot transmit. And therefore, through that, we can get to epidemic control. By 2025, Ghana is nowhere near those targets. The first 90, we are doing 68. The second 90, we are doing 69. And the third 90, we have reached the 90%. Now, most countries have reached those targets. And the WHO and the UNAIDS have indicated that by 2030, we should have 95, 95, 95. That again means that the first 95 is that 95% of people living with HIV know their status, 95 are on treatment, and 95 have reached viral level that is very suppressed. In this case, we have reached what we call epidemic control. That means that new infections are so low to the extent that they are no more a public health threat. But we're not doing so well with these ones. And there are so many reasons we can put that.
Right.
One, that stigma and discrimination is one of the biggest problems that we face in Ghana. To the extent that a lot of people don't want to go and test. And once you don't test, we don't get the numbers.
Right. So
now,
if you may permit me to come in now. So what urgent interventions must happen between now and, say, 2027 if Ghana is still to stand a chance of meeting the 2030 target? Real actions.
The most important thing for us to do is to vamp up our prevention message for people to know that HIV is still a public health threat. You and I know that some time ago we used to have a lot of messages on air, radio, everywhere you open, and there are a lot of messages encouraging people to behave properly, especially responsible sexual life. Those messages have gone down now. We have to vamp up those messages, including the use of new technology to bring messages to people, including AI or whatever technology, social media, which is very important for the youth group who are between the age of 15 to 24 years, who have very high incidence of HIV in them. In fact, if you take the new infections prevalence, it's 30% in that category of people. These are people who are used to social media. We need to use a medium that they know and understand to bring those messages to them. In general, we also have to fight the other aspects that are hindering treatment, stigma and discrimination that will require a multi-sectoral.
Well, thank you so much. We appear to have lost him there. But let's now take you to the court, because Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni has begun reviewing high-stakes petitions seeking the removal of the electoral commissioners. President John Dramani Mahama has transmitted 10 petitions, 7 targeting the EC Chair Jane Mensah and her deputies, and 3 against Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejabin. The Chief Justice will now decide if a prima facie case exists to trigger a full inquiry. Government spokesperson Felix Kwachi Ofosu spoke to Join Us.
Have indeed received the referenced petitions in respect of the electoral commissioner and her deputies, and then the special prosecutor.
Are you able to tell us when they were forwarded to the Chief Justice?
Well, this happened sometime last week.
And also, is this on the advice of the Council of State?
Well, every process that needed to be honored has been undertaken, and the process for doing so is quite clear.
Well, one of the petitioners, Reverend Abraham Lincoln, says Kisi Ejabin has been ineffective as a special prosecutor.
Not a personal whatever with Kisi Ejabin. It is about the nation they're looking at. It is about somebody causing Ghanaians pain.
Okay.
But my brother, can you just imagine about this banking, dissolution of the bank? People that are home now, drivers. Some have turned to Uber drivers. My brother, can you imagine this? And you see, when we talk, it looks as if we are against the persona. It's not about persona. If I give you a job and you cannot perform, then I have to sack you. You understand?
Right.
People have to sack you. I don't know how. Well, anyway, I don't have personal issues with him. What I'm trying to say is that he has demonstrated faith and also abuse of office.
Well, anti-corruption campaigner Vitus Azim says the petitions against Jane Mensah and her deputies were expected, pointing to their underperformance.
Well, these things were expected. We expected these petitions, but maybe not so many. Because sitting from outside and watching what was happening at the EC, there wasn't much to write home about. Even when she says, asked not to appear before the committee that was created, the Supreme Court at the 2020 election. And the Supreme Court sort of allowed her not to come out and testify. That was a serious matter. Some decisions, the use of the birth certificate, the SAL case, there were so many things that she did that I wouldn't have expected an independent institution to have engaged in.
Now, let's take you to the northern region, because a farmer in that region has made history, becoming the first to cultivate cocoa in Salniyili, an area long believed unsuitable for the crop. The breakthrough has stirred excitement in the community and could reshape agriculture in the region. My colleague Martina Bugri reports.
Meet Mohamed Inshallah, the cocoa farmer, a man with contagious enthusiasm. Mohammed has spent years working on a cocoa farm in the western region, learning the intricacies of cultivating the prized golden bean. Convinced that Salma Yele's climate and soil were perfect for cocoa production, he decided to introduce the crop when he returned to his hometown in 2012.
I got the seeds and nurtured them, just like I'm doing now. I cycled all the way to Nkwanta to get the seeds. Most people were skeptical about growing cocoa in the northern region, but I was convinced it would work. After nursing the seeds for 5 months and transplanting them, I saw how healthy they were growing, and I knew it was going to be a success.
He's not just farming cocoa. If you look around, we have plantain, palm nut, ginger, among other crops here in the northern region. Mohammed said it took just 3 years to get his first harvest.
I began harvesting a small amount of cocoa when I started, but by the 4th year, my yield had increased to about a quarter bag, which I was able to sell.
These are some of the beans being dried. They are getting ready to bag these ones. This initiative has not only caught the attention of people in northern Ghana, but also the Cocoa Board. Deputy Chief Executive Agronomy and Quality Control, Dr. Francis Barr, led a team to visit the farm. Speaking to the media, Dr. Barr said a team of experts in the coming days will visit the area to assess the climate and the topography of the area.
You know, what it shows is that if you create the environment for cocoa, cocoa will thrive. So how are we going to respond to this? We are going to bring a team to do, well, he said the cocoa itself is 2.1 acres. After we've walked a little around, you can see that the land that potentially could hold cocoa is likely to be 10 times that. So we'll bring a team, surveyors to come and survey the whole area.
For the people of the North, this discovery is groundbreaking and will support the area economically. For Joy News, Martina Bugri reporting.
Interesting there. Well, still to come, we'll take you to Ewoya and Krampakrom, where 180 modern resettlement community designed for families in the Lithium concession remains all in on paper, stalled by Parliament delay in ratifying the mining lease. We have more in our series Hope on Pause, the Lithium Promise. Stay for details. Welcome back, and we are so much grateful for you staying with us. Now, Ghana's 2025 WASSCE results have sparked concerns, with nearly 6,300 candidates having their result cancelled and over 1,000 under investigation for suspected offences. More than half of candidates scored between D7 and F9 in core mathematics, and the lowest in 4 years. The president for the Ghana National Association of Graduate Teachers, Angel Kabono, says limited contact hours under the free SHS policy are to blame, reflecting the actual performance levels under the current system.
Breaking of school, going home and coming back is affecting that what we call the learning regime. So this affects students' performance. Number two, it is not every home that is conducive for learning. Yes, there are homes that you go, you may have your own room to yourself, but a mass majority of our students don't have such homes. In fact, the distractions at home are enormous. And all these things, together with a lot of other factors, affect students' performance. And let me say that this WAEC results 2025 is the true reflection of the actual performance of our students.
Well, head of public affairs at WAEC, John Kapi, revealed that the chief examiner has identified 7 persistent weaknesses across core areas of the syllabus, weaknesses that significantly affected national outcomes.
Obviously, these are not topics that are outside the syllabus and they're not outside the test blueprint. So from the general comment that was made, the chief examiners reported that the standard of the paper compared favorably with that of the previous years.
For purposes of emphasis, can you repeat the 7 weaknesses that the chief examiner identified?
So 1, representing mathematical information in a diagram. 2, solving global mathematics-related problems. 3, constructing cumulative frequency table from given data distribution. 4, making deductions from real-life problems. 5, solving application problems in simple interest. 6, translating word problems into mathematical expressions. And 7, interpreting of results from cumulative frequency curves.
Let's now take you to Techiman because the residents there have struggled with overflowing heaps of solid waste at the city's landfill. Now, hope is on the horizon with the acquisition of a 30-hectare site in Fiaso for a new engineer disposal facility. Bono Regional Correspondent Anas Sabit has more.
Techiman, the heartbeat of the Bono East region, a city known for its vibrant trade, its growing population and its energy. But for years, this growth has come with a growing pain, one that has piled up quite literally on the doorstep of the city authorities. For as long as many residents can remember, this has been the face of Techiman's biggest challenge, sanitation. The city's main disposal site has been full to capacity, a monumental problem that local assembly members have had to face every single day. The assembly has been spending colossal amounts of money in a constant, costly battle, not to solve the problem, but just to push it aside, making way for the hundreds of tons of new waste generated daily by the city and its famous market. Ajay Mensah is the mayor of Techiman.
All along the old final disposal sites, in less than a month, you will have to look for dozer to go and clear the trees. And it's not easy mobilizing dozer. You have to look for low bed and then it will carry this loader there. It has been a very big financial loss on the assembly.
But now, a new chapter is being written, a potential final solution. This 30 hectares of secured land in Fiaso is where the city's hopes are now pinned. The mayor, after a recent tour, expressed strong confidence that the Fiaso site will be operational by the close of the year.
We have now finished the construction from Fiaso town to this place.
With a fast-growing population and a market that generates significant waste, the mayor is also looking to the future, issuing a call to action.
So investors who are interested in waste should come to Techiman, and whatever on our part we have to do to make his business profitable, there's somebody is going to do it.
Anna Sabit, Joy News, Techiman.
Away from the Ghana risks losing the full value of its first lithium venture as delays in ratifying the mining lease continue to stall the Ewoya project. Acting Director of the Institute of Mineral Resource Investment and Governance at the University of Mines and Technology, Dr. Frank Boatin, warned government revenues will keep shrinking if the deal is not passed. Dr. Boatin says Ghana must urgently build price-sensitive mechanisms into the agreement to cushion future market shocks. We'll hear from him shortly, though. But first, two communities, Ewuya and Krampakrom, earmarked for relocation to a 180-unit modern housing project, say their future remains frozen as the resettlement exists only on paper. Emmanuel Jiveno reports.
Abba Yamiati cooks on the clay stove in the middle of her compound, something she has done for years. 2 years ago, officials came and measured everything she owned. her rooms, farmlands, and placed a moratorium on all new developments in Krampakrom.
Because the Oban stop work until ye Juma na sisi over Muebos, ye may be allowed to be on.
Richard Manson sits with his wife and children in front of the single room that all 6 of them share. A weak, aging structure meant to be temporary. Richard has said for years to build additional rooms, but the moratorium placed on new buildings halted his plans.
I say, no beat me better roofing sheet in I am more than now, and one boom. No matter what I dear dancer say, and can say, it me the poor down machine and a gate to our frames be our high chest, and can eat me.
The Warriors Queen Mother says the uncertainty has paralyzed the entire community.
Mukura Nanko Haka crying there. What church or dying Ena a quadrant. Yasha Siciano Medaya, my jai. Ahabaya also me do come nimuno. Nina me jai. Tia hami. Tia waka crana dia. And say I was right a bang. On some paper no money. I'm palampaled manola bada. On when your mom on your fast because Papa could with one whom but the one ne obebo jue gubodu mi bubo jue ba won to card. Timo musaba onu him na what wolo ko baby. Tiko abaka ka we mo 110.
And until Parliament makes a decision on the Wuya Lithium project, their lives remain paused. Nojivenu, Joy News, Central Region.
Well, we cannot hear from Dr. Frank Boateng, who is calling for the urgent ratification of the Wuya Lithium project. He says Ghana must build price sensitivity mechanisms into the agreement to protect the country from future market shocks.
The more we sit down and wait, we are losing out on the market. We are losing out on, cashing out from these minerals. So it's very crucial that we don't let this turn into another debate where there will be a standoff and we are not going to close this deal. I feel there are certain things we can look at. I mean, price sensitivities can be plugged in. If tomorrow prices change, we can come back to the table and look at the royalty deals as well.
Meanwhile, the Oman Hene of the Mankisim traditional area, Osajifo Amanfo Edu the 9th, is also urging Parliament to ratify the deal so the lithium project can begin, even as further discussions continue on the royalty rate.
It takes not less than a year to complete and commission a mine. They are going to do the civil works, the mechanical works, the electrical works. These processes are not going to be within the next 6 or 7 months. So my opinion is that Parliament should approve the lease, should ratify the lease so that these processes will commence.
Right.
If our interest now is the royalty, by January 2027, when production starts, then we get our royalties.
Away from that, the National Disaster Management Organization in the Central Region is stepping up action against unsafe construction after a tragic drowning in Budumburam claimed the life of an 8-year-old and hospitalized another. District and municipal committees have been ordered to clamp down on developers who leave manholes uncovered or abandoned sites. Regional NADMO Director Emmanuel Kwesi Dawood urged a resident to report hazards in their communities to prevent further tragedies.
For November 2025, the breakdown of disasters in the Central Region as recorded by the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, stands at 15 with 88 people affected and 3 deceased persons. The disasters recorded include collapsed buildings, flooding, domestic and commercial fires, drownings and road accidents. Addressing the press, the Regional NADMO Director, Emmanuel Kwesi Dawood, directed disaster management committees across the region to warn developers against leaving manholes and pits uncovered. The directive follows a recent drowning incident at Budumburam in the Gumwa East District, which left an 8-year-old boy deceased and one other person hospitalized.
NADMO Central hereby directs all metro, municipal, district and sub-metro disaster management committees to caution all developers in their respective jurisdictions to take immediate steps in covering unused manholes and abandoned pits in their enclave at their construction sites towards the prevention of similar unfortunate incidents in the various districts. And also we direct our disaster control officers to intensify the hazard identification activities, as well as calling on our citizens, everyone in Central Region, to help report all potential hazards or any situation that may lead into a preventable disaster. Help report to us.
He added that NADMO remains committed in protecting lives and properties and called on the Regional Roads Directorate and other concerned authorities for measures to curb road accidents.
Concerning road accidents, once again reiterates the need for the Regional Highway Directorates, the Regional Urban Roads Engineers, National Insurance Commission officials, and the Road Safety the Directorates to come to our aid as usual in helping to erect the necessary directional signs and road signages along the identified hotspots in the region so as to reduce the incidence of the rampant accident that we are recording almost on daily basis in our region. And we hope when these directional signs and road signages are in place, it will go a long way towards the mitigation or the effect of these accidents.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Lissel in Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
And from our studios here, I am Carlos Calone. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Please stay. And welcome to Showbiz. Irene is already here. Irene?
Hi, Carlos. How was your weekend?
Oh, it was okay.
Oh, okay.
Yours?
Showing. Your suit tells it all.
Oh, thank you. I know. You are in that agenda.
No.
Anyway, what do we have tonight?
Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the Ghana DJ Awards. In fact, the 2025 edition of the Ghana DJ Awards happened over the weekend, where DJs were awarded for their contribution towards the music industry, as well as some creatives and individuals. If you missed the event, this is a highlight.
The black carpet kicked off the celebration. Stars arrived in bold outfits and dramatic styling. DJs, performers and celebrities posed for the cameras and shared the excitement.
I'm here to support mostly all the DJs because I personally am an artist. I love DJs. Who is a DJ's friend?
We would be looking out for the DJ of the year. That very category has always been competitive. I remember last year when DJ Lord won. I was the very person that presented this award to him.
If I tell you the others who do not or who will not win will not play my music, I won't tell you. I want everybody to win.
I'm happy to be nominated. I've been in this game for 3 years. I have an event called Casa Caramel. My name is Carmen Caramel. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here and happy to be nominated.
Inside the auditorium, the energy was high. Back-to-back DJ sets kept the crowd moving. The performances turned the venue into a full party. One of the biggest moments of the night came with a tribute. Broadcasting icon Doreen Ando received the Lifetime Achievement Award. The hall erupted in applause as she was honored for decades of service and influence.
I'm totally elated and I'm grateful to Guinness Ghana DJ Awards for this recognition. Hey, we thank God for how far He's brought us. And I thank each and every one for being a part of this journey, because without you guys who listen, I couldn't have come this far. So thank you, but hey, I'll take the fans, but I'll give the praise to God because He deserves it.
Then came the major announcement. The coveted DJ of the Year award went to DJ Sly King. The audience rose to their feet as he accepted the top honor of the night.
Good morning, Ghana. I'm super excited. I didn't see this coming, you know what I'm saying? I just want to thank everybody for showing me love. Unstoppable Nation, I love you.
Other winners were also recognized. From Afrobeats DJ to Best Campus DJ, they all had one message. The industry is growing and the DJ culture keeps rising.
Excited to the extent that I can't even stop sweating. Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because if you are being recognized as the best record promoter, that means you've promoted a lot of artists and made artists blow both in the country and out of the country. So it's a big deal to me, even though every DJ's wish is to win the ultimate award, but this one means a lot to me because this is what puts food on my table.
In fact, I feel so excited, yes, because last year I was nominated as Discovery of the Year. I did all I could to win it, but I couldn't. Yes, I was like, oh, why? But God spoke to me because I'm a gospel DJ. God spoke to me that, my son, hey, you are not a Discovery, you are a gospel DJ, so wait for next year. And I waited, and today I'm lifting the award. I'm glad.
From the black carpet to the final award, the 2025 Ghana DJ Awards celebrated creativity, impact, and the power of the people behind the music.
Nice one.
Well, I'm taking you to our next story where I take you to gospel musician Mavis Asante, who has been away from music for a very long time. Well, she has come out to make a few statements explaining why she was away. According to her, she got married, kids came in, and so she had to focus on family. But guess what? She's back and she has a new song.
I got married.
Okay.
I had children.
Okay.
And that had a toll on me.
Okay.
Because I really wanted to be there for my children. So I decided to put the music on hold. Music takes time. It takes a lot of time. Every morning you're going for an interview, you're promoting your songs, you're moving to here and there. So I decided to hold on with the music and take care of my family. Okay. Because it was very, very important to me. I couldn't leave my children for nanny because I wouldn't know what would happen. So my main aim was to leave everything behind and focus on family.
From Mavis Asante, welcome back, and we hope to enjoy more music from you. But I'm taking you to our last story where I get to talk about Olive the Boy, who is saying or has hinted that he thinks next year's TGMA is going to win an award or even awards.
Next year? Oh, yeah.
You have
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course. We go back, what to go back.
Which categories are you? Which categories?
Which categories? Maybe EP of the year.
Afrobeat, Afropop.
Afrobeat artist, Afrobeat song. Maybe songwriter of the year. Song of the year, maybe. Maybe.
All right, and that's all I have for you today, Carlos on Showbiz. Thank you.
Well, that's all we have time for here on Joy News Prime. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. Pius Kujobaka is up next with Prime Business. Bye-bye.